Hi, thank you so much for being here this week. Okay, so what I'm doing this week is Christmas. Now that Halloween's over, literally 2 days ago, I'm starting in on Christmas decorating. This year, I wanted to focus a lot of time on my mantle. I've never really worked on that. It's usually been all about the Christmas tree and maybe the front of the house. And I've just sort of left the mantle last minute, but I wanted to do something kind of dramatic and really make a statement with that area this year. So I got some inspiration and then I hit the thrift stores and I'll show you what I got up to. I think it worked out. So let's just start. Okay, so when I was at the thrift store, I always picking up garland and wreaths and greenery around the holidays because I'm always needing to put it somewhere or make something look a little bit fresher. So I'm always picking up garlands and wreaths. I also wanted to pick up some sprigs and branches and things like this, a lot of greenery, because I had the idea of making my mantle look like bringing the outdoors into my living room, but decorating. And I also picked up these nutcrackers, and I'm always picking up extra bulbs around Christmas and these little trees. And of course, I always need these fillers with all of that greenery that I was picking up. I needed to make sure I had these so I could fit it into vases or wherever it was going to go. So my inspiration this year, like I said, was to bring the outdoors in, and I love how dramatic and fresh this looks. And it's not overdone. I like that it's pretty simple. It's mostly about the green and it's very dramatic and it looks elegant but natural. And I thought that's very calming. I really wanted to go for something like that. So I got all of the greenery and the sprigs and I laid them out, and I was just trying to organize myself because I really didn't have a direction. Like I say, I've never really done my mantle. And then these nutcrackers were somehow going to fit in. I'm not sure how, but I'll fit them in. And I wasn't sure if I was going to use those blue vases. I use those all year, and definitely I was going to use the gold ones, but I just wasn't sure. I always put that painting up every year, so we got that together. I got my Christmas lights, and I'll show you how I put the garland up. And then I just simply put the garland up with the lights, and that was just the base coat. That's where we're going to start from. Okay, so we have the base with both of our garlands, and I'm just making sure that they're balanced and they're equal on either side. They're hanging down. For this, I wanted to show you that I put command strips up there. I did this for my fall mantle, and I liked it so much. It just adds so much more to your mantle, and you just get more greenery. It just looks a little bit lusher, and it holds. The command strips actually, hold the garlands very nicely. Okay, so I wanted to add height to the top of the mantle. I always forget that, and I think people think about just that top shelf, on their mantle, and they don't think about adding, any height to it. And I certainly don't. So I wanted to try that this year, and that's, I think, the thing that I loved about all the inspiration is they had so much drama going up above. They had height, and then it was balanced out below. So once I got those up, and I really liked the way they looked, I just needed to add, really flesh this out and make it like as full as possible and look as natural as possible. So I'm just cutting all the sprigs and trying to get them, with wire cutters, trying to move them around and balance them as much as I could. And the idea was to, like I said, make it as lush as possible and with a little bit of elegance. And so as much as I got, I used actually every bit of it. I thought I would have some left over for the front pots, but I didn't. I literally used everything. I love the way that greenery is hanging down and it's actually touching the bottom garland. It's kind of bringing it together. So I know I wanted to get more of that. And, I'm just adding more gold accents and just playing around, and the key part is just kind of organizing myself and putting it all out so I could see how to balance it. So, I don't think you can really go wrong. It's green, it's natural, it should look a little wild, not so planned out. So I think I got a little bit of help there, but I'm loving the little hints of gold. I like it at night, especially if you have bulbs, which I'll add in a little bit. But I love having just little hints of the metallic in there. And so I'm just moving everything around and seeing if I can get it to balance. And it's looking really good. I am liking all those sprigs. It's giving me the look that I was hoping for. So just moving it around and it's looking a lot lusher to me. And I just love the look. It looks fairly fresh to me. It feels like you should have the smell of a forest when you walk in there. Okay, so these are the bulbs that I picked up. And like I said, I'm always picking up silver and gold. You can just fill in anything, any gaps you have in your decor. You can just kind of put those in. So I'm just placing those around to see where I will go back and wire them. And I think those look really great. And I think the lights will sort of bounce off of them and play around. Okay, this is the disaster I was left with after. And I was left with nothing. I mean, I had those few sprigs, and that was not going to work in those pots because that blue and white just isn't going to work. And I don't have enough, and I wasn't sure if I was going to go back and get more sprigs or what I was going to do there. So the top looks great, but the bottom of the mantle, it's not looking so good. I did need something for the center of the mantle, and I found these in our attic, and I thought they would be perfect. I love that tree because it was very light and airy looking, and I didn't want it to block the painting, but I wanted a focal point, and so it provided both. You can see through to the painting, and it's not blocking anything, but your eye goes straight there. So I thought that was really pretty, and then the deers, of course, made sense because it's a natural scene and you would find deers in the forest. So I thought those looked really, really pretty, and I was so happy to find these. They were just in a box. We haven't used them in years. I forgot about them. So that was really fun to find these guys. They were sinking a little bit down, so I went and I got some bubble wrap that we had, that they were secured in while we stored them, and just kind of placed it under them so that I could see them a little bit more because they're so pretty. And I feel like we need a little bit, I want to see a little bit more of that metallic color to balance all of the green, and it just kind of brings it back. So I think that is looking really good. So I think we've got a really good base, and I just need to figure out how to blend the top and the bottom and just make it look a little bit more cohesive. But I think it's so I wanted to work on these nutcrackers. I knew I wanted to blend them into the scene. So I'm getting black and white paint and gold paint. And my brushes and my metallic pens are going to be, my acrylic pens are going to become really key in this because I'm going to need that detail. I love Mackenzie Child, so I love black and white and gold, and these were my inspiration. I felt like they would really pop against all of that green, and that gold that we have in the mantle will actually, sort of be carried out through these the nutcrackers. So I painted one black and one white, and I didn't want them to be uniform because I think that's a little boring, but I wanted them to go together. So I was just in Mackenzie Child fashion. I was just working with checks and stripes and the black and the gold, and so I'm just kind of playing around. Like I'm just kind of seeing as I go, because I always figure I can just paint over it if I don't like it. So I'm not too precious with it because I think it takes up a lot of time. I just kind of go in and start laying it out, and then I can see if it's going to work or not. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just, if you're a little timid, you never get going. So I just, throwing the paint on and seeing if I can create some sort of direction, and I'm just trying to lay out everything to see how it works. And I think the check is working really well here, and it's just going back and cleaning it up and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to carry it to his body, and and you just have to, these little things, you just have to keep going back and cleaning them up. And I miss a lot of paint. There's a lot of little dings and empty spaces, but I finally get it. It just takes time. And so I'm just moving the paint around and adding the gold and make sure I'm just mapping it out so I know where everything's going. And on the other one too. And I wanted I wanted them to contrast but be similar. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just like moving the paint around, just getting a general idea of what is going on here. All right, and so I'm just painting the base and making sure they're different but similar enough. And then I'm starting in on this guy, same idea, just mapping it out so I have an idea of where they are going to go. And I didn't want to, with the faces, I didn't want it to be so I didn't want to really give a lot of detail. I wanted these to be very simple. And so I'm keeping the painting very simple and just moving the black and gold around so you can just have those colors there, and it just can work with the mantle. But I think they came together really nicely, and I had so much fun doing them. I really wanted to do a large nutcracker, but we don't really have a space for it. So these kind of fulfilled that my need to do a nutcracker, and I think they're going to look really stately and nice in front of that mantle. I think the colors are all going to work. So these were a lot of fun to do, and I just kind of had to just keep cleaning it up and just going back and going back. They took some time, but I feel like they worked out really nicely, and you'll see the finished product when I do this. So yeah, I'm just adding all the last minute details. So I bought these off of Amazon because I thought I could put these at around the fireplace to balance the mantle, but it's not looking so good. It just doesn't have the impact. It's not filling up all that empty space. I don't want to bring those blue planters back in because I think it's just going to throw off the whole look. The nutcrackers are a little too slim and small to really fill that area, and so I feel like I needed to get like a more dramatic look, a fuller look, like a kind of a tree. So what I did was I went to At Home and I caved and I found these little spruces. It's always so hard because I always think I'm going to find it thrifting, but I just couldn't. So then I went to Lowe's and I got these clay pots, and I thought this might help with my nutcrackers. I wanted them to stand up a little bit more, and nothing against short men, but I just wanted them to elevate so they had a little bit more drama. So I sprayed these with the Rust-Oleum and to give them a really good base, just to give them a little bit more drama. I worked so hard, I wanted to show them off, but look at what happened. It just was not adhering to the clay pots, and I don't know why. I have to research it. I didn't have time to keep testing this, so I just wiped it off and went back to my acrylic paint and just painted them. I'll have to look into why it did not work on clay pots, but for now I'm just going to paint it and get going. And I wanted to paint these black stripes on there because like I say, I wanted your eye to really look at those nutcrackers. I'm really proud of them, and I want them to have a dramatic base to stand on. And this is in keeping with the Mackenzie Child look, how she uses stripes and checks. So that's how they're gonna look. All right, so here, that's how they look. It looks really pretty. I think they look good on that stand. All right, so this is the finished product. I'm loving the drama of those planters on the top, and I love how I'm bringing the top garland into the bottom garland with those overhangs of greenery. And those trees look amazing. They fill that space, and I just love them there. And there's the faces I drew on our little guys, and I think they look so good. And I love how simple they look, and I love that they're different. And I'm glad I got those pots for them to stand on. They needed that drama, and I just put those Amazon trees in the back just to fill it out a little bit more because I really do want it to look like a forest. But those spruces that I got at home really did the trick, and I'm thinking it's looking so pretty, and it does have that fresh look I was wanting. So here is how it looks all lit up, and then you can really see the drama of it, and it's going to be so fun, on a Christmas, around the holidays, to just sit and have some wine and hang out. It's going to feel so relaxing there, and that greenery just, I don't know, it's what I was going for this year. I didn't want anything too elegant, but I just wanted to feel the nature in there, and I'm just loving it. I love the bulbs. I think they look really pretty. There's just enough. I still can see a lot of the green. Those, I love how and I really did nothing. I just put 3 or 4 sprigs in there, and it just came together. The deer are looking perfect. And like I said, I love this overhanging. I'm not even sure what kind of a plant it is, but I love how it looks, and it's connecting everything. And that the tree is just doing what I want. It's just in the center, not taking up too much space, looking really pretty, and those look really nice there. So I feel like I got there with some lot of thrifting, but some help from Joannes and At Home with the greenery, because sometimes I have trouble finding that at thrift stores, but it's looking so pretty. And I'm loving how the little bits, I didn't do too much in the bottom garland. I wanted to keep that pretty simple. I didn't want it to overload, but I think it's looking really good. It's blending together, and I think these little nutcrackers, I'm really loving them. I think they look really cute, and it blends really well together. And over here, I've got to take that tag off of that spruce tree. I'm seeing it right there. But also I like where I can place these spruce tree, because I have all that wiring back there, and I probably could get an extension cord, but I think that tree hides it for now. But I think it came together really nicely, and it's what I wanted. It's a lot of drama, and we're gonna notice our mantle this year, and I really like it. So it's a great start to Christmas this year. It's just looking really relaxing, and that's how it looks from a distance, and you can see all the elevation and how it's balanced out there. It looks really good to me. Thank you so much for being here this week, and I hope you keep checking back because I found a lot of really cool things at the thrift store, and I have a lot of great decor ideas that I want to do this Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. So have a great week, and I will see you guys the next time.